Hello, and a really big welcome to you. My name is Andrew Mallett, and yes, I am the Urban Penguin. Now, today I want to take you a little bit deeper into learning about bash built-ins. We're going to look at the help command. Yes, there is a command called help. And one thing that sometimes annoys me just a little bit, doesn't matter how much you pay for your training, but especially if you look at enterprise trainings from some of the big Linux vendors, you're going to find that, of course, they cover the man command. They cover the info command. But I haven't yet found a course that goes through and covers the help command. Now, why would this be so important? Well, it's important because the help command can easily take you to the help that you need and will value so much once you start reading it on bash built-ins. You don't have to search the bash page to get help on the built-in commands. Now, these built-in commands are going to include things such as the umask command, the test command, but also commands like cd. And you're going to say, well, really, what can I learn about the command cd? You would be surprised. There's going to be a lot you can learn about the cd command, especially if you've never read the documentation on the cd command. But anyway, that's another story. For the moment, we really want to get into learning about the help command and helping you really understand and learn Linux. Come on, join me in the command line. Now, there's always a comfort in the command line, isn't it? Look at this, we're back out on our command line. Now, we're on an Ubuntu 20.04 system here, but what we're looking at is going to be vaguely similar across all of your Linux distributions. As I say, I want to make sure that you can learn the full story of Linux, not just picking up small elements of it, those elements that want to be pushed out by the big enterprise Linux distributions. I've attended and I've taught many Linux training courses, and I've never come across a course that will actually show you how to get direct help from bash built-ins. If we go through and use the type command, if we go through and say like type and umask, we're going to go through and hopefully find that this is a shell built in. If we look at things like the test command we can go through for evaluating conditions when we're writing scripts or if statements, those sorts of things. Now, these then are all built-in commands. If I try and open up a man page for umask, this is on Ubuntu, and it says there is no manual page for umask. If this was on a Red Hat-based systems, it may well open up the bash built-ins man page, but you then still have to search that. If I clear the screen, if I go through and look at man and bash being a built-in command, well, of course, we're going to be able to find it within the bash man page. But of course, then I've got to use / look for umask. And as I go through then and take a look, well, okay, we found it once, but that's not what we want. But on the second match, we've got the help. So I'm not saying it's an actual trudge to go through and get the information. But what I'd like you to know about is if I go through and run help all by itself, well, the first thing it does is actually print all of my built-in commands. So this is really useful just to be able to learn about some of them. If I clear the screen, so go back and let's use Control and L, but then if I want help on umask is our user file mask, so this then can be used to remove permissions from our default permission. But look, we can then go through and get the dedicated help that we might want. And as I say, there are many other commands, including the cd command. And look at this, if I go through and then help cd then obviously to change the directory, but there is a lot of options that are available. We can even see that it's scrolled on. But it gives you ideas that we can actually set up variables to change directories to the contents of a variable, and we can set up a variable called cd path where we can go through and search for directories if they're not currently in our home directory. So I say, once we start reading the documentation, and I know it's a sin to read documentation, but believe me, reading the documentation can give you ideas that you just didn't know existed within your standard commands. And I would just like a little bit of inclusion in some of the enterprise Linux courses just to mention this. Only needs to be 5 minutes. Look how long this video is, and we're keeping this video short just to make it one of those small bites of information that you can grab hold of. But do let me know right in the comments. Do you like long videos, short videos? And if you've got particular topics, there's been a few topics that have been suggested recently, which I'm going to try and run through. But please leave your feedback and let me know how things are going.
All that is left to say is thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this, then you are probably sadder than I first thought. For more of this drivel, please subscribe, like and comment to @TheUrbanPenguin.